welcome to another episode on Chat with Rutherford. Thank you all for subscribing. Thank you for the likes, for the comments. I see all. Please keep subscribing. I love you all. So today I will be talking about building a successful career, as an immigrant, most especially. And well, I'll not be the one talking. My special guest is my special person. He's not behind the scene today, okay? So he's going to be the one, shedding light and just sharing some tips and all that in building a successful career. So I have my wonderful husband with me. All right. Thank you so much, babe, for coming to, should I say, share your experience, or what do I say? But anyhow, thank you so much. So let's get to meet you, okay?
Okay, I'm Emmanuel Ayola. I'm a senior research analyst.
Is the senior for me?
A senior. Very important.
Okay, that's amazing. That's amazing. So, how did you start your career generally, in Canada?
Okay, so I came in as a student. Came in to study masters in economics, and then thereafter I started my career as a data analyst.
Okay.
And and then from the data side, I'm kind of moving towards the market research side of the business. Yeah.
That's amazing. So, how did you then transition from, you say you started as a data analyst, right? Then you then transition to
market research. Market research. So what happened?
Was there any particular reason, or you just
no? There wasn't. It was just an opportunity. I saw an opportunity in research, and also my skills. The skills I've acquired from being a data analyst can actually help in markets, because market research, you still do some analysis, right? Like some data analysis, right? So it kind of help, because even as a research analyst, you do extraction of data, you do transformation and loading of data too, right? Because you kind of do interviews, you get both quantitative and qualitative data. I'm sure you don't know that,
right? I'm just hearing data, but come on. At least I have a little idea, small. Okay, amazing. So, what can you say about the Canadian, job market generally? Because at least that's where the area we're looking at now.
Okay.
Where we're heading to.
So just permit me to kind of to generalize it. Like, okay. So let's compare the job market in developed world and the job market in developing world, right? So let's just try to compare them side by side, and I'll focus on first the job search process first. So in developing world, most times is basically you get job based on connections, right? Like, I know someone that knows someone that can, that can refer me or connect me to get a job. But in Canada, networking is good. I always talk about building network. But most times you just see a job advert and then you have the right skills. You know that your skill actually matches the JD, and then you can just go ahead to apply for it, and then you get it without even knowing anyone in the in the company, right? But over the years, I've just discovered, like, in most developing world, you have to kind of know someone. Even when you're qualified, you still need to know someone that can actually recommend you to get a job. But in Canada, it's kind of different. It's kind of different. It's basically your skill. If you can do the job, we don't care where you're from, whether you're black, you're white.
Emphasis on, like, your skills.
Exactly. Right? Just the emphasis is on your skill, not your person, not you yourself, right? So
Wow, that's deep. Okay. Well, that's true. More on skills, amazing. So, what were starting your career generally? What were some of the first steps you took? Like, what were some major things that you did?
So at a point, I thought my my education would get me a good job, right? So I felt like, having 2 masters, having a post diploma certificate would get to a good job. Or but I got to discover, no, it doesn't, right? So what we in developed world generally, what will get you a good job is your skill, what you can do. So let me tell you a story. my first job in Canada. During the interview, I still remember just like yesterday. So every job will always ask you during the interview, will always ask you, please introduce yourself, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I was asked, can we meet you? And I started with the Nigerian mentality. My name is Emmanuel. I have a BSc in mathematics. As a matter of fact, I finished as the overall best student in my university, right? And then I move on to say, then thereafter I got a post graduate diploma, and then I had my first master's in economics, my second master's in economics, thinking that will make the hiring manager feel like, wow, this guy is the
It's
best
good.
candidate,
It's
right?
good. Pressure.
And then what my who later became my boss, what he said then was that Emmanuel, I didn't know when I was saying all of those things, he was calculating the years for me. And he said, like, Emmanuel, why did you waste 15 years of your life going going to school?
Wait. What?
Yeah, he said that. He said, why did you waste 15 years of your life going to school? Because to be candid with you, what I was meant to do at that job, an high school student can actually do it. An high school student with the right skill can actually do that job. Trust me. Yeah, if you have the right skill, you can do it. Because now, none of even the jobs that even my current job, none of my employers ever asked me of my certificates. Because they don't even. It's just about, can you do the job, right? And there's also some level of trust here in developed world, right? There's some level of trust that if this person says he has a master's, he has a master's, right? And then they will just want to know if you have the experience, the work experience, and if you have the skill. Yeah.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The education definitely is
Mm-hmm.
important.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So looking at both now, because you've said now that skills,
Yeah.
especially here in
Mm-hmm.
Canada, is more of like the skills and all that. So are we now saying that the Canadian experience, work experience, is much more important, or what do you
Yeah, Canadian
think?
work experience is more
Because
no, it's more important.
okay.
But the thing is that the skill um in Canada and the same skill in maybe Nigeria, wherever you're coming from, is the
Mm,
same thing, right? Like, so if I, for instance, if I know how to use Power BI from Nigeria and the same Power BI, is the same thing, right? There's no difference. So,
different. Okay.
so the idea with Canadian experience is probably working for a Canadian employer. That's the idea with the Canadian experience, right? But Canada or most developing world are kind of skill oriented rather than certificate oriented like in developing world. So it's more about just about the emphasis is just on your skills, right? And then let me also tell you something, because I've also been part of so I've attended several interviews, and I've also been privileged to interview some people,
People.
and sometimes there are some people that you see with the right education, right? But they are not employable because the committee might be concerned, like, these guys are educated. Yeah, we give that to them, but do they have the right skill, right? Because skills are divided into two. So we have hard skills and soft skills,
Yeah.
right? So the hard skills they are transferable. I can teach you, for instance, how to code. I can teach you how to use Power BI, to use Tableau SQL. I can teach anybody, right? But the soft skill, which in terms of communication, interpersonal relationships, someone that all his life has been in the academy, it might be difficult for that person to work in the workplace, right? Because what he knows how to do is to relate with his lecturer, right? Or his lecturers, or his or her lecturers, right? And he doesn't know how do I relate with my colleague. When I have a conflict with my colleague, how do I resolve it, right? Because you hardly have conflict with your supervisor in the school, right? In the university. So so that's the issue, right? So it's not, so the emphasis is not on education, the emphasis is on your experience, and in addition to that is also your skill too.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, okay.
Hmm.
Well, this is just your own opinion,
Yeah, just my
definitely. Yeah,
opinion. Yeah,
because
just my opinion.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's just you
Uh-huh.
you saying. So, would you now say um study
Mm-hmm.
or work when you are coming as an immigrant? If you just come in, like study, or you just go straight to work? Because definitely you should be working, where you're coming from. Yeah. So
So no, now let me just try to let
balance.
me try to balance it,
Okay.
right? So it depends on like where you're coming from.
Okay.
So for instance, um if I'm coming from, still because we're Nigerian, so let's use Nigeria as an example. So if
All
I'm
right.
coming from Nigeria and the only thing I have is an high school, right? Like secondary school, what we call secondary school in Nigeria,
Mm.
then I will say study, right? But
Yeah.
assuming I have high school, I have maybe a degree, I have maybe a master's already,
Mm.
and then I'm coming to Canada. For me, I wouldn't say I wouldn't say study again. I'll just say just maybe do some certifications or learn some skills, right?
Yeah. Look
And
for how to, channel and
exactly. So
groom yourself to fit into
so
the
I still remember
workspace.
I did a research on I think income disparity between immigrant and Canadians.
Okay.
So and in my research, I discovered that there was a lot of disparity between immigrants in terms of work experience. Some of their work experience from back home are not being recognized in
Mm.
Canada. Their education are not being recognized. And I remember one of my recommendations is that the government should have a kind of program that can help immigrants integrate into Canada faster in terms of um, recognizing some of the certificates from back home, like the equivalent of that certificate in Canada. You don't have to probably go through some of these external bodies to do your certificate evaluation
Mm.
to, to know if like to know the equivalent of your certificate in Canada. So government can actually do that where immigrant coming from other countries can easily, as a matter of fact, as you're just entering, you just tell us what's your degree, and then we'll be able to tell you this is the equivalent of a degree in Canada. It makes it faster, it closes the gap,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
And so still on your question, so it depends on where you're coming from, it depends
From
on your
okay, very
qualification,
true. Very
right?
true.
So that's, for instance, someone that has a master's and with 5, 10 years experience from Nigeria,
Mm.
and then you're coming
Mm.
to Canada. For me, I wouldn't say go back to school, except maybe there's maybe yeah, maybe it's a means to an end for you, not the end itself. Maybe you wanted to go to school to buy some time for your immigration process, or you want to do, yeah, maybe. But for
Mm.
me, I would just think if you have the right skill, just try applying for jobs, right? Just um, and then maybe later on we might touch on that. I don't know if you have a question on that, but maybe later on we'll talk
Mm.
about resume,
Mm.
how to design your resume, how to design your cover letter, because most big companies in developed world use what we call ATS. It's
Okay.
applicant tracking system.
Okay.
And what
Okay.
that does is if you submit a resume for a particular job, they kind of compare your resume to the JD, that's job description of the company.
Company.
So
Mm.
they look at keywords. So
Mm.
does the words from your resume doesn't match the JD? If it doesn't, trust me, you won't get a job. So
Wow.
what it means is that like I always say, looking for job in developed world is job itself.
Mm.
Yeah, it's job itself. So
Honestly,
yeah.
honestly, it's work. Job hunting is
Oh
something
yeah,
else.
but it's
It's
a lot.
work
It's a
himself.
lot.
All right. Okay, so still on this certification and study,
Hmm.
is there any major role like it plays? Because I know there's this word I love so much,
Hmm.
or do I say statement like learning is a continuous
It
process,
is.
and I'm
It
sure you
is.
will agree to
Hmm.
that. So,
Hmm.
certifications and all that. What major impact do you think it plays in helping one's career?
Yeah, certification plays a lot of role. So now let me try to for um because of our audience now. When you talk
Okay.
about certification,
Mm.
it's kind of different from, let's say, educational qualification, like let's say degree.
Mm,
Right.
yeah, sure,
Certification is
sure.
different from degree. So certification, let me give an example, maybe PMP, that's for project managers. Let's say maybe certification in cybersecurity, certification in data, certification in business analysis,
Mm.
right? So now what certification does for you is that it makes you not automatically, like the employer will see you as a professional, as an expert. Now for me, so when I'm saying I'm a certified project manager or I'm a certified data analyst,
Mhm.
the employer is seeing me as this person is a professional. For this person to pass the exam, for this person to be
Yeah.
certified, then it means this person is a professional, right?
Mm,
So
mm,
um, so really if I'm to advise immigrants, right, rather than probably going to the
Study like
this
degree
like the degree,
part per se.
if you have like that, with two situations, two scenario. One, an high school student that doesn't have qualifications, right, that doesn't have a degree or higher degree, advanced degree, right,
Okay.
you can go to school, right. But what I'm saying is, if you have a degree already, right, you have a degree, you have work experience, and you um immigrating to Canada, you should focus more on skills and focus more on certifications,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
Get some of these certifications, especially certifications that are relevant in your field,
Mm.
right? So get those certifications. And
All
then
right.
another thing I also want to mention here, because I know most people have talked to me about this, about what they call survival. Is it survival? Yeah, surviving. Is it surviving or survivor job? Where let's say for instance, I'm a data analyst in back home, and then when you come to develop word, you find it difficult to get a job, and then you start probably maybe doing care job and all of those kind of, maybe cleaning and
Gotcha.
all of those job. I call them survival job, right? Now it's fine, right? It's really okay to do this job when you come to, because nobody pays anybody's bill
Abroad
in abroad
generally.
generally.
Yeah.
You have to pay your bills, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is that my only issue is when people start building career in the survival job,
Mm.
right? So you can start doing some survivor job, but you should know that this is my field. So my field is a data analyst. I want to be a data analyst, right? But for now, maybe for next 6 months, 1 year, I'm doing this survivor job to pay my income, right?
Mm.
But I'm still building my, so that will even help you free some time to build your career, to build your skills, to get certifications in order for you to get that actual job that you want, right? So
Mm.
so yeah, that's the point.
Okay, okay,
Hmm.
okay. Amazing. Thank you so much for shedding, light on, the study,
Yeah.
certification, and all
Hmm.
that.
Hmm.
So now let's come to the part of the work we need to put in, or what we need to present to get the work. That's like
Okay.
our resume, our
Resumes.
CV,
Okay.
you get.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think, or what can you say about resume? How should one package it, present that? Yeah, and then the next step of, like, when you have an interview. Yeah.
Okay. So resume is different from CV.
Oh.
Hope you know. Oh, you don't know. No, what doesn't know? You pay me. You pay me for this, right? You do pay.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
you
right.
need to pay. So resume is a summary of your CV. So
Mm,
CV is more detailed than resume. Resume should be max of maybe 3 pages. If you have so much experience, maybe most 1 to 3 pages,
okay.
right, of resume. Make sure your resume is presentable. What I mean by presentable, you need to have a good design of your resume.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also do what I call a portfolio. So I have a
Okay.
my personal website is attached to my resume,
Okay.
right? So some people also do Q code. They do like, you just scan the Q code on their resume and then it takes you to their website. Just something nice, something, yeah. So
Mm,
so if you see my resume is just like 2 pages, right?
yeah.
And then, but I have my portfolio website where you click on that portfolio, then you can see like in detailed my information, all the projects I've done in the
Mm,
in the
mm,
past, all my
mm,
work experience, my education, my
mm.
certifications, my skills. You cannot, but those things might not necessarily be in my resume, right? And
Okay.
then yeah, so that's just the way. So don't so people make that mistake of employees.
Putting
Yeah,
all.
exactly. Employers asking for a resume, but you're submitting a CV. Sometimes they get just bored, like 5 6 pages of
Mm,
like, and some of those jobs are not even related to what you're applying for,
applying
right? So
for.
imagine you applying for, maybe let's say, executive assistant role, and all your work experience is maybe what can I say? Maybe maybe something different, maybe data
Yeah.
analyst, for instance. Yeah, maybe
Mm.
data analyst. There's nothing related to executive assistant.
That's a,
So so it's also good to also tailor a resume to
what you're applying for, the
what you're
position you're
applying
applying
for.
for.
And then there are basically two it's not 3 stages when searching for job in a in generally, not even only in develop whatever way. The first is working on your resume and your cover letter.
Okay.
And then maybe searching for job. Let's even start with searching for job, right? So in no order, right? So in no order, let me not, yeah, it might even be more than three, but in no order. So search for jobs, get the job, prepare your resume, right? And make sure your resume actually matches the JD, like we've said before. And then the other thing is you need to prepare for interview. Most people don't prepare for interview, right? They just think their resume will do the magic,
We'll do the talking for them.
So the other thing is that, and this is the reason why you need to have a good resume and a cover letter, because you see, when employers, and why I'm saying this is because I've been privileged to screen a lot of candidates, right? So you don't have that opportunity to defend yourself. So your resume is actually defending you, right? So if you don't have what is necessary in your resume, I won't call you to say, oh, Ruth, you didn't. There's an issue with the first job. Can you make a correction? What I'll just do. Oh, this person is not qualified, right? So make sure your resume is actually selling you, right? It's about selling yourself, marketing yourself. Make sure your resume is selling you, and then after then you need to prepare for the interview. Do a lot of mock interview before. And make sure you have eye contact, especially if it's an online interview. Make sure you're looking into your interviewer, like looking at their eyes on the screen or whatever you're using. Just make sure you have eye contact. Don't look around, because because of AI, right? I discovered that there's this level of distrust between people interviewing and the candidates, right? The candidate, there's this level of distrust, because why is she looking like this? Maybe someone is actually telling us something, right? Or maybe she's reading from somewhere or something. So make sure you're looking into your laptop, you're looking into your camera, right? Your webcam, and you're having this eye contact, right? And then don't look like as if you're reading from your screen, from your laptop. Be free. Just interview is about storytelling. It's about how much you can market yourself. It's about how much you can tell stories, right? So if you can tell good stories, you can defend what is on your resume, then you get a job. Yeah, you're good to go.
Amazing. Finally, how do we deal? Let me say we. Yes, let me generalize it. How do we deal with rejection? Because definitely you apply, you even be called for an interview. You feel like, yeah, I did well. I should get this. And now I'm here to tell you, sorry, we've moved on. Like, it's very, very painful. So how do we deal with rejection, and how do we keep the motivation high? How do we keep the morale high?
Morale high.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good question. So let me start with this. I mentioned before now that searching for job is actually job itself. So just know that this is actually work. You're actually working. Looking for jobs like you're actually working, because sometimes, like, just imagine you making like 10-20 applications a day. That's a lot of work, right?
A lot of work.
and trust me, how will you feel after making 10 applications and you didn't get any callback?
I'm not working again. I'm not working.
Yeah, it really can be discouraging, really. So now this is the idea. This is what I always advise people. Let's say you can't be doing the same thing and expect a different result. Right? So what you need to do is, if for instance I submit 20 applications and I didn't get the feedback, then I need to sit back, take a break. Right. Yeah. And then ask yourself some critical questions. Is it what am I not doing right? It's possible that you're doing something wrong, right? Look at your resume again, look at your cover letter again, and then you can also reach out to those companies for feedbacks. Yeah, you can tell them, like, maybe you did an interview, like, okay, so please, I even always do that during my interviews. Part of the question I ask my interviewers, right, that is it possible for you guys to give feedback after this interview, even if
I don't get the job,
I don't get the job, right? Because I want to learn, right? And that also, for me, I think is also a selling point. You're actually selling yourself. Kind of. Yeah, no, really. Because if you're telling your employer that even if you fail, you're still willing to learn from your failure, it's kind of they are kind of impressed. That's what I've discovered over time, right? Kind of. So we can ask for feedback, and then, like I've talked about, you can take a break. Really, it can be overwhelming. Yeah, when you apply for 10, 20, 50 jobs and there's no callback, there's no interview, just take maybe 1 week or 2 weeks off. right? Just say, you know what, I'm not applying, I'm just building myself, I'm just getting skills, and and then you can now resume again. This is what I tell most people that come to me. I use that if I help you work, if I work on your resume, like give you recommendations on how to design your resume and all of that. So in 1 week, we apply for 10 jobs, and don't apply again, just apply for 10 jobs, and then let's wait. So let's see if one or two companies are calling us back, are going to call us back, right? So if we get one or two, that's a good sign that your resume, because it's one thing for you to apply for a job and get called for an interview, it's another thing for you to apply and not get called. You not being called means your resume did not go anywhere, right? But being called for an interview, even if you didn't pass, means that at least you're doing the right thing. Then okay, one stage is done. Resume and cover letter, I'm okay with that, right? And then what I need to start working on is my interview, right? Maybe I need to start doing mock interviews. I need to start asking people to maybe give me feedback regarding after the mock interview, get feedback from people, right? And then that will help. So that's my advice for people. But trust me, I've been in that situation where you apply, sometimes you feel like, what's happening? Is it like I'm not sometimes you even feel like probably maybe you're not good enough. Yeah, sometimes you feel like I'm not good enough. Is it I can't do this thing, or what's happening? Why am I not getting a job?
You start having self-doubt.
And it can actually even reduce your self-esteem too. So but the thing is that don't give up. Trust me, don't give up. Take a break if you want to take a break, and then start applying again, right? Start applying again, start probably doing things differently, and then you can reach out to people for help, especially maybe people in your field. You reach out to them for help, because also one of the other thing about interviews, interviewers want to. So if you, for instance, babe, you're not into data, right, and you apply for a data job, and you did the right thing, your resume, everything looks good. So how do I know if you're not a data analyst? The way I would get to know is if you don't speak our language, because we have our own language. They call it jargons, right? So you need to learn some of those. So it's best for you to probably ask people ahead of you to say, so what are the language? What are the languages?
Like Power BI now.
Like kind of, data
analyst. So I know the language now for data analyst.
You know Power BI.
I know Power BI.
Just one class, no, you don't tell me. Well, maybe at the beginner level though. So like, let's take Power BI for example. You should be able to talk about visualization. There's where you can edit. There's a where you can filter. Do you get? What is Power BI used for? Right, to create dashboard that is kind of interactive, right? That stakeholders can interact with. So basically, interview is about storytelling, like I said, and then please maybe get a mentor. I think that will help really. I'm not saying one thing. Okay, maybe this is a discussion for another day about mentorship, right? Most people think mentorship is someone that will tell you what to do and what not to do, like somebody that will kind of hold you by hands and force you to do what you don't want to know. So mentors are just meant to advise you. It's your responsibility to take the advice or not, right? So please get a mentor. Get people that you can ask questions, right? People that people that have actually, because there's no point making the mistake when the same mistake that someone has made before, right? You can learn from people that have made that, like journey that path before, right? Just learn from them so that you can get it right. So there are a lot of jobs out there. Trust me. Just if you can get it right, get your resume fixed, get your cover letter fixed, and
good to go.
And probably we'll be happy to hear people share on the comment section. Share testimonies of job after this.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I've learned a lot, and I'm sure people too will pick one or two things that works for them. That they feel that they can follow and all, because to me it has really, really been informative, educative and all that. Interview storytelling.
It's about storytelling.
It's about storytelling.
How much you can market yourself, right?
So interview is about storytelling. So you can also put that in the comment section. Interview is about storytelling. So just relate, like you're just in.
And there are also some YouTube videos online, some like on YouTube videos on YouTube that can actually help you how to be successful during interviews, like the likely questions or how to respond to questions, and also even some write up from a lot of people on what to say, what not to say during interviews. So just engage yourself. Don't just keep doing the same thing and then you're expecting a different result. Try something else, right? Yeah, it's really help. Yeah.
Well, we've come to the end on today's episode. I'm sure you all enjoyed this and you've learned one or two things. Yeah, so just let me know in the comment section, okay? Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Till I come your way again next time, it's your girl, Rutherford with an H, okay? I love you. Bye. Tell them bye.
Bye.